Don't look down. My, how things have changed in my 73 plus years. I survived 1 year in Vietnam, never left, never talked to anyone outside the country. Back then, we who were in a combat zone corresponded with the outside world by letter. I think they call it snail mail now, due to the fact it takes so long to reach its destination. An appropriate comparison, wouldn't you say, considering how you can be on the battlefield in today's world talking to someone thousands of miles away? I cannot think of letters without remembering how my wonderful wife of 50 years plus wrote me a letter every day I was in Vietnam. I jokingly tell people if she was the meanest woman on earth, I would stay with her for that reason alone. But of course, she's not. I could go on and on reminiscing about the past, but I really should get to the story I set out to tell. The story centers around a mode of transportation, the automobile. It is hard for me to grasp all of the changes that have transformed the automobile in the past 60 years. In that era of time, any speed above 40 miles an hour was considered burning up the road. I don't know if power steering was even available at the time, but I guess it would have cost extra if it were. Some vehicles you started with your foot. Automatic transmissions were a luxury, and if you got more than 15,000 miles on a set of tires, you were one of the lucky few. Some cars back then had doors that hinged toward the rear of the car. They opened from front to back. I'm sure when they were designed, the visual appearance would have taken center stage in importance. The second consideration would have been easy access, with little or no consideration concerning opening the door at 50 miles an hour. That brings me to the curiosity of a little 8-year-old boy, me. I wondered what would happen if I opened that door just a little. I soon found out it wasn't the smartest thing I'd ever done. I can still remember feeling the door pull as the wind took hold of it and the tug of war began. I was giving it all I had, but it was a losing battle. As the door flew open and slammed against the side of the car, I was hanging on like a hare in a biscuit. The sound of the door smacking the car summoned the front seat passengers. In a flash, Mom was lying over the front seat desperately trying to reach me or the door. I'm not sure which, but at the time either one would have suited me just fine. I will never forget, I can still see the blacktop as it streamed by underneath my feet. Dad finally got the car stopped, and I got my feet back on solid ground. Thank you, Jesus. I can only imagine the lecturing I would have received after pulling such a stunt. I am sure "don't ever do that again" would have been verbalized with the greatest of emphasis being put on the words "don't" and "ever." I had survived my second encounter with the automobile.